Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in the description box. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,500 members in the group. And it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff for this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, guys. Well, here we go. I mean, you know, just. Almost 20 years. Almost 20 years it's been since we swept the Eagles. I mean, you know, we've had some good teams. I mean, they've not been like, you know, Super Bowl contenders every year, whatever, you know, just almost 20 years since we've swept them. I mean, and now it's been what I think it was 2013 was the last time we won in Philly with Mr. Eli there. I think we've lost 12 in a row. Paul Dottino mentioned, I mean, something you can look up, obviously, but I think it was 12 in a row we've lost in Philly. If you include the playoff, the 38-7 drubbing that we got in 2022. So I guess 11 consecutive games, right? 2014 to 2024 would be 11 regular season games, then the playoff game in 2022. So 12 straight games we've lost in Philadelphia. I mean, just unbelievable. Yeah, just can we get off the schneid? Can we finally beat, you know, not only beat them in Philly and then sweep them? Whew. You know, I mean, you know, there's a chance every week. That's why you play the games. You never know which way the ball is going to bounce. One of the things here would be, which would be huge, okay, would be, as we saw last week, and actually, I guess, you know, like the last, like, 5 weeks, right, with the Giants, pertaining to the Giants, okay, whoever won the turnover battle won the game. Chiefs, I think, had a +2 on us, I think it was. Of course, they won the game, but we didn't have a kicker either. Grant Cano's coming back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, then we against the Chargers, you know, right? I don't think we turned it over. I think we were up +2 to the Charger, or +2 to 2 interceptions, I guess it was, right? We won that game, right? Then you go on the road and you don't even get one against the Saints, which one could have been huge, but then we get 5 consecutive drives that ended in turnovers. Of course, we lost that one. One of them was basically at least a 10-point play, the SKATTEBO fumble. They run it back for a touchdown. We should have had at least a field goal. Right? So that was at least 10 points. You know, then we played the Eagles, right? Had the 2 turnovers. The Eagles had the 2 turnovers, which the Eagles are very good at not turning the ball over, right? The Eagles don't necessarily beat you. They just don't beat themselves, okay? Right? The Eagles find ways. I mean, you know, last week against Carson Wentz, if you saw the Thursday night game, I mean, Minnesota's just straight trash. I mean, I thought the Giants were bad. I thought maybe Miami was bad. Minnesota, sweet dear Lord, Mama Jesus. Oh my God. Poor guy. I felt bad for Carson Wentz. He was his one arm is just all wrapped up, and you know, I guess it's not his throwing arm, I guess his left arm. I mean, it was just, you know, he just He has a big brace on it. He was getting hit every play, wincing in pain. But I mean, they're just straight trash. And the Eagles beat them 28-22, I believe it was. Of course, they had to pick one of Carson Wentz's passes off and run it back for a touchdown. I mean, that's something. They had to block a field goal, a game-winning field goal from the Rams. Of course, they had to block it, pick it up, run it back for a touchdown to beat the Rams. The Rams outplayed them. So, you take those two plays away, the Eagles have two more losses on it, right? So instead of what 5-2, they could easily be 3-4. I mean, if this is just goes to show you how sometimes when Lady Luck is shining down on you, right? Everything goes your way, and nothing goes, the other team's way. ABCD Lamb, was he like $35 million a year? He's getting paid, and he drops like 37. I mean, he had a good game. He caught a lot of passes, over 100 yards. But dude, you want $30-something million? You catch the mother ball. I mean, Dak's hanging in the pocket, hanging, throwing these balls are like right there, hitting the dude in the hands, and he's dropping them. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, so the Eagles have been very lucky this year. Very, very lucky this year. The Eagles could easily have 3 more losses. Eagles could be 2-5. They're just very lucky. Every game, I believe every game so far this year, the Eagles have been outgained. Okay? Every game. They don't lose the game. They make you lose the game. All right, they just hang around and something winds up going the Eagles' way where they scoop up a fumble and run it back for a touchdown. That winds up being the deciding factor. They block a punt, they block a field goal. I mean, it was like what happened a couple weeks ago. Pretty much the turn, the fad was 27-17, right? Was the flat interception, right? They're going for a touchdown there. Okay, it's 27-24. Whole new ball game. But the pick six with the extra point, right? It's made it 34-17, put us up by 3 scores. And then, of course, they came down and then Belton punched the ball out. We recovered it. And we ran the clock out. Game was over, right? But, I mean, it's going to be huge, really huge. You have to protect the football. You can't give them anything. Right? Let's not forget, right? The defending Super Bowl champions. That we're going to go over the injury list here in a little bit, okay? They got a lot of guys out, which is rare. The one thing, and, everything, don't get me wrong, the Eagles were the overall best team. They had, like, no weaknesses last year. None. Sirianni's a little too cocky for me. I don't really, particularly like him. But, they won a Super Bowl with him, right? But last year they were also very, very healthy. They're one of the least injured teams, and they really benefit from it. But you got all of that together, right? A very good team. The defense was very good. Very good offense, good offensive line. Saquon running for over 2,000 yards. You got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, I believe came back toward the end of the year, right? Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback. And, the injuries were like very, very minimal, right? And they just had it all. Plain and simple, right? And I'll say this to the day. I don't like how they built their team. I don't like putting void years on the end of the guys' contracts. A lot of teams do that, but nowhere near what the Eagles do, right? I wish they would just get away with the void years, period. If you can't afford a ball player, you don't get them. Plain and simple. We don't throw void years on the end of the contract so we can bring a guy in. To me, I mean, nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody cares. I get it, but to me, right? But I said just basically the team they got at last year was really, really, really good. But this year they are banged up. They have 6 guys that are out. I mean, last year they, as I said, they were very healthy last year. So the Giants had 2 guys out, and they got. Well, we're going to go over the injuries in a little bit here, but one guy is doubtful. So our secondary is going to be, right. We're going to have some interesting guys out there in the secondary. right? Let's hope Mr. Banks decides to show up, right? It would just be amazing if one time, is that, is that too much to, it's like drafting an offensive lineman and actually getting a good one, with the Giants. It's like, can we ever draft? I don't know. We got to go back to, Prince Amukamara and maybe Phillips. Was Phillips 2008? Prince Amukamara was what, 2011? No, 12. Was it maybe 11? Prince? Yeah. I go back and look. Can we ever draft a cornerback in the first round and a guy pans out? Is that too much to ask? No, it's like we should have our two cornerbacks. We should have DeAndre Baker, right? And actually, we could have three cornerbacks. I don't know if Eli Apple will still be around, but we should have DeAndre Baker, one cornerback, and Tay Banks should be, right? Now, DeAndre Baker would be 7th year, I believe it would be 2019, 18. Yeah, 7th year. Yeah, but he could still be playing, but if he was any good, we need a cornerback. We're going to need another cornerback. That's for damn sure. And it's like, spend $100 million on Adebo and Holland. Where are the dividends? We took $100 million. We put it into a CD, a 6-month CD. It's the 6 months is up. We're supposed to get accrued some interest on it. I'm looking around. There's like no way. Where are the dividends? All right, let's see here. So, Dart, SKATTEBO look to keep it going. It's going to be a little bit different here this week. A little bit different because they get, especially Carter, right? Very good at clogging up the middle there. Right? It's going to be a little bit different. But JMS should be back this week too. So, right. But the Giants' offense has transformed since Jaxson Dart was named the starting quarterback in Week 4 with an average of 25.3 points per game over the last 4 weeks. And just imagine we actually had a field goal kicker, right? Right. Imagine we actually had a number 1 wide receiver for him to throw the ball to. That could be a little more than 25 points a game. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad for a rookie quarterback. No number 1, top 2 wide receiver, outside receivers or haven't been playing, right? We have no field goal kicker, and still we're averaging 25.3 points per game. Not too bad, right? The rookie quarterback has stepped up in key situations. On third downs, he has converted a first down at the third highest rate, 48.8%, and averaged the second most EPA per dropback of 0.44 in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. Additionally, he's been able to avoid negative plays in those situations with just 1 sack taken on the 15 pressures he's faced on third downs. But for the first time in his young career, Dart will face a defense for the second time. Now, however, you flip the script. Right? This is the first time that another team's defense has seen him for the second time. So they'll be a little bit better prepared. Okay? And, they got embarrassed. Yeah. Eagles are, very tough, blah, 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 all that stuff, but they're very prideful too. So I'm not saying that means we're going to get shut out, but, it's could be a little bit of a different situation here, right? Especially, right, this time around, right, the Eagles will have defensive tackle Jalen Carter and cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, who played a couple weeks ago against the Giants, but he left early. Right? So for most of that game, he wasn't in there, but he's coming back. So we're going to have those 2 guys. I don't think there's really too much of an advantage for either team. It's just going to be the guys who execute their schemes at the highest level, Dart said Wednesday about facing a team for the second time. It's important for us that we put together a really good game plan and also have an open mind that during the game they might do things that I didn't really expect them to do, and they're going to be thinking the exact same thing. Like I said, it's going to be a chess game because they've seen what he can do, That's a small level, right? I mean, it helps obviously if he's had a year or two or whatever of film work. But they know his scrambling ability and certain things, right? So they've seen him, right? So, but he's seen them too. Okay, it would be nice if he had if he was getting guys back, like I was getting Slayton back, so that's good. That could be really good. Okay. But it would be nice if he had like a number one wide receiver to throw the ball to, like Jalen Hurts has. He's got two. Well, we're going to talk about he actually only has one, but he has one, right? But heading into Week 8, SKATTEBO leads all rookies with 587 total yards from scrimmage and 6 touchdowns. Since Week 3, his 31 forced missed tackles ranks second in the league, only behind Christian McCaffrey, who has 37. Meanwhile, his 316 rushing yards after contact ranks as the fourth most since Week 3. Back in Week 6, SKATTEBO totaled 110 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Eagles. The Eagles are coming off a week in which their passing game finally got going. You could say that, yeah. But I mean, if you look at, their passing game got going. But I'm saying, but if you look at like what the Chargers were able to do against the Vikings, I mean, they just. I mean, the guys, they were flying around. They were trying. I'm not saying they weren't trying. But Justin Herbert carved them up like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. So, I mean, to say that the Eagles just got back on track, well, it's like, if you're playing a high school team, you get back on track. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like they were playing the fearsome foursome or something like that. Okay? They weren't playing a top-notch defense. Right? Hurts completed 19 of 23 passes. 82.6% for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions with a perfect passer rating of 158.3. Both his wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, combined for 304 of those total yards and all 3 of the scores. Right. Both wideouts came through with explosive plays as they both found the end zone from 45-plus yards out. So, I mean, that's something the Giants, Devontae Smith, I think it was like a 79-yard touchdown he had. Something that, Giants have to keep an eye on. If the Eagles are going to score it, let them march down the field. Right? Hey, man, if they put up a 12-play, 13-play, whatever, and they go 78, whatever, you tip your cap to them. Nice drive. Don't have it be like what the Broncos did, right? When the Giants were tired and they were gassed, right? Gassed. The end of the fourth quarter last week. They go 50, 60 yards in like 4 plays. Nah, can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. Right. Players to watch. Wan'Dale Robinson. In the absence of Malik Neighbors, Robinson has stepped up in a big way over the last 2 games. The fourth-year wideout caught 6 passes for 84 yards and a touchdown against the Eagles in Week 6. Now, it'll be interesting to see, is he going outside, right? Because I think that's what Quinyon Mitchell plays. So we'll have to wait and see. But it'll be huge because Robinson was the only wide receiver to catch a pass last week. Right? And it's going to be very big for the Giants wideouts this week because the Eagles do a very good job as far as covering tight ends. Right? You'll notice the tight ends last week did pretty good for the Giants. Wasn't like that 2 games ago, whatever, when we played the Eagles. Eagles do a very good job of, so the wide receivers are going to need to step it up, and hopefully if we can get some production from our tight ends, that would be a plus, without question. It'd be interesting to see. We still do the 12 personnel, having 2 tight ends on the field a lot. Going to be interesting to see. Let's see. Since taking over quarterback, Dart has leaned on Robinson as the slot receiver, has gotten 24.2% of the target share since Week 4, including 7+ targets in each of the last 3 games. So the ball's going to come his way. Right? He's got to catch the frickin' ball though, too. Because the ball that hit him in the hands that ricocheted or bounced, whatever you want to call it, into Theo Johnson's hands. Thankfully, Theo Johnson was Johnny on the spot, and he picked the ball up out of midair and ran in for a touchdown. But, that ball was going to Robinson. He should have caught that. Going to be interesting. The matchup to watch. Cordell Flott versus Devontae Smith. Now, it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of times, Smith sometimes is in the slot. Does that mean he's going to go against Phillips? And then if he goes outside, is he going to go against Flott? Is Flott going to go with him? Right? I mean, if they're going to put Devontae Smith on the outside, and Flott's not going to travel with him, I mean, man, I'm every time we're like, where's Banks at? Oh, Banks over there. Okay, you get Devontae Smith in motion, run him over there. Yeah, you got Banks covering me. Yeah, just throw the ball to me. So that could be an interesting matchup here. Flott is taking this game to another level this season. No defensive back. And the NFL has been targeted more, 37 without allowing a touchdown this season. So he's done a phenomenal job. Once again, this is a contract year for him too. So let's hope the Giants decide to bring him back. Because if the Giants don't bring him back, somebody else is going to scoff him up. Fourth-year corner has a 57.5 passer rating against him and has just allowed 5.7 yards per target, according to Next Gen Stats. But Flott will be faced with a difficult matchup this weekend. Smith caught just 4 passes for 49 yards back in Week 6, but is coming off a 9-catch, 183-yard performance against the Vikings, who was like a high school defense. So I'm not, Devontae Smith leads the Eagles with 504 receiving yards and has a career-high 3.9 yards per route run on the year. While Smith does line up in the slot a good amount, he will likely see plenty of Flott when he's on the outside. Now, of course, can't forget about Saquon. Now, he's only averaging like 3.2 yards a carry, I think it is, but it's not somebody you don't want to get him going, right? We're going to talk in just a second. We're going to go over the injury list, and the Eagles a little banged up on the offensive line. It's not the same. This ain't your mama's Eagles line from last year or a couple of years ago, whatever. So it doesn't matter what the numbers might look like. Barkley is still a threat every time he touches the ball. According to Next Gen Stats, Barkley has averaged 4.2 yards per carry on runs directed outside the tackles this season. More than 2 yards fewer than his average, but last season he was 6.6. So he's come down a lot. I mean, I don't know what he's had a nagging knee injury. Okay, now I'm not sure if that's the case. If it's the offensive line's just not been producing as good. I mean, because it's had some injuries, combination of both. But he's not what he was last year. That's for sure. Week 6, he had 5 carries for 43 yards, 8.6 yard average on such runs going to the outside. But once again, Minnesota's defense. Okay. Giants are allowing a league-high 5 yards after contact per carry and 56.6% success rate on design runs directed outside the tackles. Not only does this lead the league this season, but it also has the highest success rate allowed by any defense in a season over the last decade. Wow, that's horrible. That's horrible. I mean, the guys, we got to do some, we got to set some edges, which obviously we're not doing a very good job of. Stat to know: since Week 4, the Giants ranked second in the NFL in first downs with 94. Well, trailing only the Chiefs. Now, of course, it's the Chiefs and the refs. So the refs are making sure the Chiefs are winning some football games. So the team's 48.2% conversion rate on third down ranks 6th in that span, while their 43 rushing first downs leads the league, aided by Dart's 16, which is most among all quarterbacks. The Eagles' 43% third down conversion rate allowed ranks 26th in the NFL. The Giants went 11 for 16 on third downs in Week 6 matchup. So that's gonna be huge. Protecting the ball. Okay, not only protecting the ball, but keeping the drive alive, getting the third down and converting, right? But don't get sacked, right? Don't make it a 2nd and 16 or something like that. Try to keep getting positive yards, even if it's a couple yards. Second and 8 is a lot better, obviously, than second and 13 or 14 or 15 or something, right? So, all right, numbers here. 587. That's the running back. Cam SKATTEBO leads all NFL rookies with 587 yards from scrimmage and 6 touchdowns. And just thought if he was the starter, right, he'd have well over 600 yards through 7 games. Right, but he didn't start. Actually, the first couple of weeks, he hardly had any touches at all. Against the Commanders, I think he ran the ball once or twice or something. I mean, he caught the one pass on the outside, but I mean, he wasn't much of a factor. And then in week 2 against the Cowboys, I don't think he didn't get a heck of a lot of carries there either. Right, so imagine if he played. He was the starter. He'd have a lot more than that, right? 4th round pick is at least 90 yards from scrimmage in 5 consecutive games. So if he can make it 6 in a row, that would be huge. 25.3. The Giants have averaged 25.3 points per game in Jaxson Dart's 4 starts. In the other 54 regular season games since the start of 2022, the Giants averaged 17.7 points, a difference of 7.6 points. Giants have 94 first downs since week 4, second only to the Chiefs. Giants 48.2% conversion rate on 3rd down, 6th in that span. Right? We went over this here. Giants convert 11 third downs in their first leg of the season series with the Eagles, tied for the second most in team history since 1991 when they converted 13 against the Jets. Oh, against the Jets in 1999, they converted 13 third down conversions. Conversely, they allowed just 1 third down conversion on defense in 9 attempts by the Eagles. The Eagles had 2 giveaways against the Giants. In their 6 other games, they turned the ball over just once. So, week 6 included Jalen Hurts' only interception of the season. The Super Bowl player had gone 304 consecutive attempts without an interception, which was the longest active streak in the league. Hurts was only the 10th quarterback ever to throw at least 300 consecutive passes without an interception. The Giants have not swept the Eagles in the season since 2007. The last Giants win at the Lincoln Financial Field was October 27, 2013. Each of the Eagles' 5 wins have been decided by 7 points or fewer. They're not blowing people out. No, tomorrow's a different game. Anything's possible, right? But they're getting outgained every week. They're not blowing people out. And basically, they're making you lose the game, right? Only one of their games has been decided by more than 1 score. The 34-17 loss to the Giants. The Eagles have also been outgained in yards in all 7 games. They were outgained in 6 games in all of their 2024 championship seasons. So, according to NFL research, it is the first time Philadelphia has been outgained in its first 7 games since 1999. And they were not very good. That might have been Andy Reid's first year as coach for the Eagles. They were not very good in 1999. Brian Burns has 9 sacks in 7 games, tied with Brian Young for the most in the NFL. That puts them both on pace for 22 sacks. The NFL single-season record is 22.5 by Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt. But T.J. with 2021, I don't know. Is that when did they have 17 games then or not? I don't know. But, I mean, they're on pace, But anyway. Giants scored 40 unanswered points for the second quarter of week 40 and 33. Giants scored 40 unanswered points from the second quarter of week 6 against the Eagles to the start of the fourth quarter in week 7 against the Broncos. The Giants, however, then gave up 33 points, the most they've allowed in the fourth quarter in franchise history, and lost the game. But the Giants scored 40 consecutive points. That's pretty impressive, right? Because you figure the points that they scored against the Eagles, and then right to go up, was it 19-0, right? So last week, Dart became the first Giants rookie quarterback with at least 3 touchdown passes and 1 rushing touchdown in the same game since Charlie Connolly, another Ole Miss quarterback. In week 10 of the 1948 season at Green Bay, Dart won the 2024 Connolly Trophy as the most outstanding college football player in Mississippi. Right? And then, according to NFL research, Dart can become the first rookie quarterback to ever sweep the reigning Super Bowl champions, ever. I also saw too. There was there's not many quarterbacks from Mississippi, right? Ole Miss, shall we say, that have had lengthy careers in the NFL, and Archie Manning's one of them, right? Eli Manning's another one. Jaxson Dart, we're hoping so, and Charlie Connolly, right? The three of the four that have had lengthy NFL careers, as I said once again, we're hoping Dart does, right? But, and I think there was one other one, I can't remember who it was. But, I mean, a lot of them have been Giants. Charlie Connolly got drafted in 48. His last game was the 1961 championship game. Right, he got in. He played a little bit because Wyatt Tittle was struggling. So Charlie Connolly got into the 61 championship game, but that was his final game ever, and retired. The Giants lost 37-0 to Green Bay in the championship game. But of course, then as I said, so he was from Ole Miss. Archie Manning's from Ole Miss. Eli Manning's from Ole Miss, and of course Jaxson Dart. So majority of the Ole Miss quarterbacks that have had some success in the NFL have been New York Giants. Whoops. Oh, don't want to do that one just yet. There we go. Here we go. Let's go for this one here. So, as I said, the Eagles, they have a nice little laundry list here as far as injuries, guys. The Giants had 2 out. One of them is doubtful, so you can probably kind of, unless Mr. Diagi, whatever, the guy from what was it, the Karate Kid, whatever comes on, he goes like this, and he rubs his hands together, and he puts his hands on it. I think it's a Debo's knee, and gets it to being okay. Mr. Miyagi. You ever see Karate Kid, the first one? He goes, because the Karate Kid, something, I think it was his knee, or something. And they brought him back, and he was laying down, and he was like all beat up and stuff like that. Mr. Miyagi comes in and claps his hands. He goes like this. Well, gets some friction, gets some heat going on his hands, and I don't think you see what he does, but by the time he's done, the Karate Kid jumps up. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. So the Giants have some, do have some issues. Of course, they're in the secondary. Right, so let me show you here. What do we have here? Okay, let me share the screen here. All right, here we go. All right, now of course, but this is going to be very helpful because Mr. Brown, downtown AJ Brown, is going to be out. That's going to be huge. That's really going to help the Giants. So they won't have 2 stud wide receivers running around. So if we can, I'm not saying it's going to be easy because Dallas Goedert is going to be playing, obviously, and we always have a hard time. I have no idea why. Since Jesus Christ walked the earth, we can't cover tight ends. Don't know why. So trying to, contain DeVonta Smith, right, be huge, and let's hope somebody can cover Dallas Goedert, right? He had a very good game the other 2 weeks ago against the Giants. So, but we notice right here, this is right. So we got the Eagles here. This is like an Eagle thing here. I see. This is from BleedingGreenNation.com. Right. So the Eagles ruled 6 players out: AJ Brown, Brandon Graham, Cam Jurgens, Adoree Jackson, Bennett, and check this out. Azeez Ojulari is injured. Wow, imagine that. So they thought they were getting themselves, which they were, a very good football player. But they're like, oh man, we got this guy. Yeah, well, he's not very good when he's injured 95% of the time. It is absolutely freaking amazing. Jimmy Johnson, he said one thing. He's like, injured players get injured. They just some guys, you wind them up, put them on the field. 15 years later, they walk off the field for the final time, and Never even get an ingrown toenail. Nothing. They don't get jock itch. They don't cough. They don't catch a cold. Nothing. Other guys, they walk onto the field, bam, they're popping their Achilles. They pull a hamstring. They can't do anything. How they make it through high school and college, and then all of a sudden they come into the pros, and all of a sudden, as Ojolari did have issues, so which was something, if he ever could stay healthy, it was a heck of a steal for the Giants where they drafted him at. But as we say, and as the Eagles are saying, is he's Ojolari just can't stay healthy. It's a shame, really good player, but just can't stay healthy. All right, Brown's absence, which certainly isn't ideal, means the Eagles currently have 4 healthy wide receivers on the roster. So they got Smith, Jahan Dotson, Mechie, and Gibson. So, this guy right here, Mr. Smith, right? That's the guy we're going to watch out for. Jalen Hurts will likely look to feed Devontae Smith in this game, but someone else needs to step up and do more than nothing. We'll see if Dotson can handle that much. Note that the Eagles could also look to activate undrafted rookie standout Darius Cooper from the injured reserve. So we'll have to wait and see. The absence of both Graham and Ojolari means the Eagles have 3 healthy edge rushers on the roster: Hunt, Uche, and Patrick Johnson. So, their edge rushers are, nothing really super ideal. Okay. It's a thin group. The Eagles also do have rookie Antoine Powell-Ryland on the practice squad. It would have been nice to have Graham available this week, but he previously indicated the Green Bay Packers game in Week 10 was the more likely target for him. So he's coming back. He's been retired, so I'm not even worried. I don't know what kind of difference he's going to wind up making, right? But those are the edge rushers. So the way Thomas has been playing and the way Illuminor has been playing, Dart should be able to stand in the pocket without being, worrying hopefully too much about the edge rushers. Okay. What he's going to have to worry about is a push up the middle, no blitzing up the middle. Right. But hopefully our tackles should be able to take care of the edge. Right. Jurgen's absence means that Brett Toth will likely start at center. Good luck to you, brother. You got Sexy Dexy there. Good luck. He's taking first-time reps at the pivot in practice this week with Landon Dickerson operating at left guard. Toth going up against Dexter Lawrence isn't really a comforting proposition for Jeff Stoutland. He's trusting the veteran to get the job done. So, this would be a huge game if Sexy could finally break out. He's been double teamed a lot and all that. But if we can start hearing his name, right? He makes some tackles, gets a lot of pressure in the backfield, maybe get a sack or 2 or something. That would be huge for him. Dory Jackson's absence means that Kelly Ringo, who has really struggled, right, will start at cornerback number 2. The Eagles won't be able to go with Jacorian Bennett, who was also ruled out despite his practice window being opened earlier this week. The Eagles ruled one player questionable, which is Darius Cooper. Cooper was a full participant in practice on Thursday and Friday, so the Eagles have until 4 o'clock on Saturday, October 25th, to activate him from the injury reserve to make him available to play on Sunday. Guessing they'll do that to have more wide receiver depth. So, let's see. We got some guys who are listed, right? But they don't, but they're on the list. But Dallas Goedert, Landon Dickerson, Jeremiah Trotter, Grant Calcaterra, they're all listed without game time statuses. This means that they're ready to play despite appearing on the injury report this week. Right. So you got the Eagles injury report. Last year when they won it all, that this had to have 6 guys out. Might have been like eight weeks combined. You think maybe one guy this week was out, maybe 2 weeks later another guy. They were very, very healthy last year. This was not in the cards last year. Actually, have 6 guys out for the Eagles. So, questionable Darius Cooper with a shoulder and reserve retired. So edge is Zadarius Smith. Smith unexpectedly retired from football. That's weird. Like halfway through the season, you know what? I'm out of here, guys. So That's a bit odd, but it is what it is. Then they got a bunch of guys on the injury reserve, right? But these two guys, Bennett and Cooper, their practice window was open, so these guys might make it to the game. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, so the Giants have rolled 2 players out, Paulson Adebo, all right, and Marcus Golston. I mean, it's like somebody like Flanagan Fowles and Marcus Golston. It's like when the are these guys going to play? It's like, oh my, what the did they do? Jesus God! It's like every week it's like Marcus Golston. What did he do? Did somebody take a chainsaw and cut the dude's leg off or something? I mean, what the? Jesus God! So they got they're right about this one. Deontay Banks has been a sieve. Will have to play a corner. So the Giants ruled 1 player doubtful, which is Javon Holland. So that means we're probably going to wind up having Belton, right, and Newman as our starting safeties, right? Belton, no, that's been too bad. Once again, say this same thing with Flat, right? He's a contract year for Mr. Belton. He's going to want to play good, right? And he's been doing okay. I'm not saying he's Ronnie Lott or Troy Polamalu or something like that, but have him as like a backup or something, safety. Let's hope we sign him too. Giants ruled 3 players questionable. Brian Burns, who's playing. He said he's playing. Graham Cano and DJ Davidson. DJ's, unfortunately, he's been on the injury report quite a few times this season so far. Burns said he's going to play despite missing 2 practices and being limited on Friday. Well, I mean, it misses practices and being limited at all. That's just to help him recoup. The guy says he's going to play. The guy's going to play. I mean, I got no doubt about that. Cano could be activated from the injury reserve in order to kick for the Giants. Otherwise, the Giants could opt to temporarily elevate Younghoe Koo from the practice squad. But as far as I know, Cano should be good to go. So the Giants get a Debo and Golston, okay? And it's like Chauncey Golston, I mean, he's been out like almost the whole season, so this not like a big loss because we're not losing anybody because he hasn't already played at all. Him and Flanagan Fowles, but apparently Flanagan Fowles might actually be he might even actually be playing this week. I'm sure he'll probably get injured during the game, but then of course they said they got Javon Holland, who's doubtful. So unfortunately, Debo and Holland both have a knee. Right, they're good chance that neither one of them is going to play. Now, the one thing is that you can look at it is that if they're knees obviously can be extremely bad, right? But if they thought it was that bad, they'd be on IR. Okay, so the fact that they're hanging around and they haven't put them on IR and all like that, gives you hope that hopefully they'll be able to recuperate somewhere in the near future, right? But when at the point in time they ever actually get back on the field, it would be nice just to hear their name. Oh man, what a play by Holland! Oh, did you see that interception by Debo? Oh, you took the ball away. Big game-changing play by Debo. That'd be nice to hear that. You shell out $100 million for a couple guys. It'd be nice to hear their name like once or so during the season. I mean, am I asking for too much here? All right, so then we got obviously Burns, who's playing. It's regard. It was it was weird because at the end of the game last week he was kind of like limping at all, and they said after the game was over he was in like a walking boot, something with an ankle. And now this whole week, the boot's off, and they're not even mentioning an ankle or a foot or an ankle, and now it's a hip. So I don't know why you got a walking boot on if there was something wrong with your hip, but Burns had every week last year. Burns had something wrong with him, and he played. And the dude's just a freaking all-out warrior. See that's the thing. That's the difference, right? You bring a guy in, you pay. Once again, I'm not saying Holland's got to be a Hall of Fame, safety. I'm not saying that Debo's got to be a Hall of Fame cornerback when he's, but can we make a play? I mean, we're halfway through the season. It's like, those guys even play, you don't wonder about that with Burns, right? You bring the guy in, right? You trade away a draft pick for him. You pay the dude a lot of money, but the guy plays every week, injured or not. Leads is tied for a league lead in sacks with 9, right? So, and we got Graham Gano now, of course. The big thing here with Graham Gano, right, is that let's hope, right, that what's been happening, right, with Gano doesn't happen again. Like he gets into the game or just in the warm ups, he pulls a hamstring or a groin or something, and he can't. Let's hope, right? Because I mean, if we had a kicker last week, okay, now Gano every now and then would miss an extra point every now and then, right? But the thing about him, you pay the dude $5-6 million a season. The moments ain't too big for that dude. That's why he's been around a long time, right? And the moment, as I said, he might miss an extra point, right? But if you look at it, you're kind of wondering, right? Because with McAtamney missing that first extra point, is that why then we wind up going for 2 a little bit later? Because it's like, well, McAtamney, he sucks. So let's try to go. Do we want to try to catch up trying to make up for those points that because the field goal sucks. Interesting if we had Gano last week and just say he missed the first one. Probably wouldn't have missed the second one, right? Would have been interesting to see instead of us going for 2, would we have kicked the extra point or not? But God, it's always something. Always something. So much easier said than done. Much easier said than done. The one nice thing is that like with Dart, SKATTEBO, and the rookies and all that, they're not part of the Dexter Lawrence has never won in Philadelphia. Slayton's never won in Philadelphia. Andrew Thomas has never won in Philadelphia. I mean, these guys have been around a little while. They never won in Philadelphia. Dart and SKATTEBO. I mean, they played in stadiums bigger, right? On the road. They played in, Dart's played at SEC. He's played on the road in stadiums bigger than Philadelphia. He's been booed by more people. He's had mom jokes thrown out at him, right? But bigger stadiums and all of that. So, they're not part of that. They don't. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, they won, but that has nothing to do with right now, right? This is a very very good opportunity for the Giants, right? The Eagles are down to 1 good wide receiver. Okay, they don't have any edge rushers, right? Our tackles should be able to control anybody on the outside. They're getting Carter back. That's going to be a challenge for us up the middle. Okay, we got Slayton coming back, right? So with Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson, let's see, do we do a lot of 12 personnel with Bellinger and Theo Johnson on the field? Can we get the running game going? But the big thing is that if the Eagles are going to score, they're going to score, right? I mean, they were moving the ball up and down the field against us last time, right? They just had those 2 turnovers. But if the Eagles are going to score, let them go 60, 70 yards in 10, 12 plays. Right? Tip your cap. Nice drive, Eagles. Way to go. Don't let them, no home run balls, Devontae Smith, no 70-yard touchdown runs by Saquon Barkley, right? And don't turn them. It's so much easier said than done. I get it. But, turning the ball over. I said the last 5 games the Giants have been in, whoever won the turnover battle won the game, right? The Chiefs, the Saints, and the Broncos won the turnover battle against the Giants. They won the game. The Giants against the Chargers, and then the Giants against the Eagles won the turnover battle. They won those games. So the last 5 games were 2-3 in the turnover battle. So it's going to be huge. I said one thing the Eagles, as I said, the Eagles don't do is beat themselves much. They 2 weeks ago, right? Jalen Hurts threw the interception, got the ball punched out. They were moving down for at least a field goal try or something, but the ball got punched out, right? But for the most part, the other games, they don't beat themselves. Okay. And as I said, if you look at those games they against the Rams, they blocked a game-winning field goal, picked it up and ran it back for a touchdown. Last week, they beat the Vikings, who suck, by 6 points. Well, they picked the pass off and ran it back for a touchdown. So, once again, a lot easier said than done. I get it. But if the Eagles are going to score, let their offense score. Let them march down the field and score. Don't get no strip sack. They pick the ball up, run it in for a touchdown. Don't let them return a punt for a touchdown. Don't let them block a punt, run it back for a touchdown. Don't let them pick a pass off, run it back. Let their offense score. Don't give them any points, right? And I said, every game is different. That's why they play the games, right? You don't know. The Giants have a very good, a very fair chance. Now, whether they could certainly lose 31-10, right? The way things have been going this year, but the Giants have a very fair chance of coming out with a W in this one. Right? A lot of it's going to be, a lot going to be like that momentum. Can the Giants, get that taste of victory in the third, fourth quarter? Can they hang around, right? A one-score game or be tied, or maybe just go into late third into the fourth quarter, and then can they, flip the switch? Yeah, remember what happened last week? That's not going to happen this week. That's not happening this week. We're winning this week. So, all right, here we go. So now they were listening to, anyway. Now, of course, this guy here, Brian Thomas Jr., right? Only happened to be the running mate, right, or the wide receiver with Malik Neighbors at LSU. Now, let me show. Tell you what, his senior season, right, at LSU with Malik Neighbors. Tell you what, it's some pretty impressive stuff here. Let me show you here. Let me go and share my screen. All right, here we go. So I'll show you. This is his college stats. I said, look at his senior season when he was playing with Malik Neighbors. Don't you think Malik would be juiced up to get this guy to come in, right? Right now, senior season, right? Look, indicates bowl stats are included. Okay. But his final season, LSU, with Malik Neighbors, right? Malik Neighbors 2024, 2025. Well, this guy here, Brian Thomas, he's played the last 2 seasons, right? LSU, he caught 68 passes, 1,177 yards, 17 touchdowns, 17.3 yards per reception. He averaged 90.5 yards per game. So, 17 touchdowns. Now, once again, a lot of it's got to do with, the rest of the LSU offense. You got Malik Neighbors on the other side, helps open things up for you. I get it. But let's look, this season's been a little bit of a struggle for him, okay? But apparently, as I said, I'm going to read a little article here. Apparently, at least the Jags are entertaining, okay, some, at least they're picking the phone up. The one thing, the guy's been healthy. He's been healthy. He's played in every game so far. He's on his rookie deal. I'll have to wait and see. But let me share my screen here again and show you what he did. It was 2 years, his rookie season. It was not bad. It was not bad at all. All right. Brian Thomas, okay. Now this year it's been a little bit. He's only caught like half of his base. He's been targeted, and the Jags are doing good this year, right? So Lawrence threw him 55 passes. He only caught 27 of them. So he's catching like what, 50? It's a little less than 50%, like 49% or something like that. 49.5% of the balls coming his way. So, but he has 365 yards. So I mean, even still with that, he's still on pace for probably at least 900 yards receiving. He only has one touchdown, but he's averaging 13.5 yards of reception. Not bad. But you look last year, right? He caught 87 passes. As I said, he's played in every game. He didn't start one of the games last year. He did not start, but he played in all 17 games this year. He played in all 7 so far. He had a lot of targets. He got 87 balls, 1,282 yards, 14.7 yards of reception, and 10 touchdowns. Wow. Very, very impressive. So, like I said, the Giants, they need somebody. Obviously, they're talking about in this article, I think it might take like maybe a second round pick. So, yeah, be interesting to see. Because the trade deadline is November 4th. All right, so you still got like 2 more weeks. You got this week here, and then you got, what the heck would that be? That would be November 2nd, would be next Sunday's games. So after this week and next week, I'm just saying, if the Giants were to win both games, they'd be 4-5. They'll be right back in the thick of things, right? Then you got 2 more days before. I guess it's probably like, I think it's like 4 o'clock on November 4th at the end of the trade deadline. So after, November 2nd, when the Giants play the 49ers, the schedule don't get any easier, guys. Just saying, the Giants are 4-5. Would Shane maybe try to pull a trigger on something like that? Or would he wait until the draft next season, right, to maybe go and see if they can get another one? We need another wide receiver. Need another wide receiver. No question. Got to help Dart out. Got to help him. I'm saying the Giants certainly maybe think about doing something like that in the draft, right? But just say the Giants were to lose both games. Now they're 2-7, pretty much out of the playoffs, right? Is Shane, would Shane be willing to, let's still got a wide receiver? I mean, would he be willing to pull the trigger on that? Or is he going to be willing to maybe just wait until next season? That's even if he's around. Who knows? But they're at least picking the phone up. All right. So the Giants just got news of a brand new trade opportunity at wide receiver. So it's nice here. The Giants haven't stopped searching for help at wide receiver, and the hunt might soon lead them to an intriguing name out of Jacksonville. According to Diana Rossini, the Jaguars could be willing to listen to offers for wideout Brian Thomas Jr., a move that would certainly catch the Giants' attention as the front office looks for a spark on offense. And he's still on his rookie deal. This is only his 2nd season. So, I mean, the thing is, it's not like, you bring in like Jalen Waddle or something like that. And I think a couple of years from now, Jalen Waddle's, his contract, it goes up to like $33 million or something like that. No, he's just on his rookie deal. Thomas, a former first-round pick and standout rookie, feels like the kind of player who might just need a reset. The Giants are desperate for one of their own on offense. And I said, man, you bring him in. He played with Malik Neighbors. This is his 2nd season. He's a former first-round pick. So you'd have him under contract for 2 more years, and you pick up his 5th-year option. So you'd have him for the rest of this season and another 3 years on a very reasonable contract. Last season, Thomas exploded onto the scene. 87 catches, 1,282 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Established himself as one of the league's most exciting young vertical threats. His 67.4 reception rate and big playability made him a go-to option for Jacksonville's offense, and it looked like he was well on his way to stardom. But But that version of Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't shown up this season. Through 7 games, he's recorded just 27 receptions for 365 yards and just 1 touchdown, a dramatic drop-off from his rookie production. The struggles in Jacksonville may open the door. The film tells an unflattering story. Thomas has appeared disengaged at times, showing little urgency in his routes and avoiding contact after the catch. 6 drops in 7 games underscore a confidence issue. And when a receiver stops attacking the football, it usually means something deeper is off. Still, the Giants have every reason to see if there's something salvageable. Thomas's talent isn't a question. His size, speed, and route running potential made him a first-round pick for a reason. A change of scenery could help him reset both mentally and physically. If the Giants were to make a move, the price would likely start around a second-round pick. Well, I ain't got a problem. Well, I mean, it's easy for me to say, right? But which might give General Manager Joe Shane some hesitation. You're trading away a second-round pick for a former first-round pick. But there's a layer of familiarity that makes the idea more enticing. Thomas and Malik Neighbors played together at LSU, forming one of the college football's most explosive duos. Reuniting them could recreate some of that chemistry, giving quarterback Jaxson Dart 2 dynamic options to build around for the future. It's a gamble, but not a reckless one, especially for a team still searching for its offense identity. Just look at George Pickens, who went from being frustrated in Pittsburgh to revitalized in Dallas. Sometimes a fresh environment can unlock what's been buried. For the Giants, taking that chance of Brian Thomas Jr. might be exactly the kind of swing that changes their offensive future. We got here. The Jaguars are listening to trade offers for Brian Thomas Jr. According to Diana Rossini of The Athletic, the Jaguars are listening to trade calls. Rossini says that even if a trade feels highly unlikely, that's understandable. That's it, Your draft, that's like drafting Malik Neighbors last year, right? He has a great year. He struggles a little bit this year, and we're going to get rid of him for a second-round pick. So the team is at least, the Jaguars are at least listening. Jaguars are reportedly looking for defensive help right now, per Rossini. Thomas Jr. had a breakout season last year for Jacksonville, but it's been the complete opposite this season. Thomas has struggled quite a bit in Liam Cohen's offense for whatever reason. Receivers are always in demand ahead of the deadline, so it's possible a team could step up and make a serious offer for a young and talented player. Something to at least keep an eye on and leading up to the deadline. Thomas, he's 23 years old. I mean, he's just a freaking baby. Oh, my goodness. Healthy, too. Hasn't been injured. Let me say. I mean, you look at his college career. 2023, he played 13 games. 2022, he played 13 games. 2021, he played 12 games. I mean, you look, between 2021, 22, 23, 24, I don't think he's missed a game. He's 23. He's healthy. He's 6'2". He's not 6'5" or something like that, but man. Let's see. Thomas was a 3-year starter at LSU and earned third-team All-American and second-team All-SEC honors in 2023. Jaguars used the 23rd pick in the 2024 draft to draft him. He's in the second year of a 4-year, $14.4 million rookie contract that includes $7.28 million signing bonus. The contract also includes a 5th-year option for the team to pick up in 2028. 2025, Thomas has appeared in all 7 games for the Jaguars and caught 27 passes. Yeah. So, might be something, certainly might be something to think about. Right? Oh. 5 Giants beat the Eagles one time and act like the Cowgirls now. That's what I call it. That's what I call the Cowboy. I call them too. I call them that too. Yeah. But, so it's something to think about. Something to think. We need, we're scoring points. I mean, do they want to, just who we got and just try to go through the season, the rest of the season with who we got? Who knows? But I said that's up for Shane. But we still got a little over. We still got about 10 days left to go until the trade deadline's over with. So if he makes some, we brought Ray McLeod in, but that's not a trade at all or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll certainly have to wait and see. But whether it's this year or whether it's in the draft next season, we really need another offensive weapon. Because you see, it's like, we're scoring points, but I mean, just imagine if we had two healthy wide, if we had Malik healthy and then we had another really good wide receiver over here. Right? And you can't do what, some teams do with Malik Neighbors. Well, we got 11 guys on the field. We'll take 10 of them and slide them all over Malik's side. And we'll make the rest of the Giant team beat us, right? Malik's not going to beat it. Well, you can't do that if you got one guy over here and you got one guy over here. Right? Because if you're going to start taking a cornerback and the cornerback carries the wide receiver, and then you got maybe the safeties over top, well, that's going to leave a nice hole in the center. Right? So along the line, the Giants, we need another weapon. Certainly need another weapon. Now, this is kind of bad, if you want to call it that, but it could. The alternative could have been even worse because they were talking about they did do an investigation. I mean, I guess you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that what they did was wrong. I mean, it's like you got the blue tent, and watching all the games and all that stuff. What Dable did and SKATTEBO. It's like, I don't remember that anybody doing that before. Once again, just goes to show you, I mean, the things that happened to the Giants, it just, I don't think anybody's done that before. Yeah. Got in a concussion. He's in the tent. You got the coach in there. What's going on there? What's up? Huh? Yeah. So it could have been worse. So thankfully, this is a learning experience. And let's hope that Dable stays away from the blue tent next time Jaxson Dart goes in there. And hopefully Cam SKATTEBO too. And hopefully the rest of the Giants team. Somebody goes in the blue tent, you stay away. Right? But one of the things that was possible was a loss of a draft pick. Now whether Shane and Dable will be here next season or not or whatever, that remains to be seen. But that's something the Giants can't afford. Right? Can't afford to lose a draft pick. So they got fined. Actually, SKATTEBO got fined. Actually, he got fined twice. Because they came back with the determination of the blue tent and all that. So SKATTEBO got fined $15,000 for that, and then he got fined in the Denver game after he got run over. When Dart threw that interception, he got ran over. I think he tried to trip the guy or kick the guy or something. Whatever it was. So he got fined like another $6,000 or so for that. So SKATTEBO's got fined for $21,000. And Dable got fined $100,000. The Giants got fined $200,000. So, but let's hope this is a learning. Right? And I said could have been worse. At least we got all our draft picks. So that's huge. All right, where we at here? All right, so the NFL fines the Giants $200,000 for violating the concussion protocol versus the Eagles. Brian Dable and Cam SKATTEBO also got fined too. The NFL fined the Giants $200,000 for violating the concussion protocol during their Week 6 win over the Eagles, the league announced. Separately, Giants coach Brian Dable was fined $100,000, and running back Cam SKATTEBO was also fined $15,000 for conduct detrimental to the league stemming from their actions during the Eagles game. The penalties come after the NFL and the NFL Player Association conducted a joint review of the application of the protocol involving the Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart. While the NFL and the NFL Players Association found that the Giants medical staff and unaffiliated medical providers properly followed all the steps required by the collective bargaining agreement In their assessment of Dart, the sides concluded New York violated the protocol via the actions of Dable and SKATTEBO. All right. During Dart's evaluation in the sideline blue medical tent, the NFL and the NFLPA found that Dable and SKATTEBO entered the tent and spoke with Dart before his evaluation was complete, creating the perception that they were interfering with Dart's exam. While the parties agreed that Coach Dable and SKATTEBO's actions had no actual impact on the exam or the care that Mr. Dart received, in a joint statement reads, their conduct was inconsistent with and demonstrated a disregard for the concussion protocol requirements and therefore constituted a violation. Yep, hard to argue with that. The concussion protocol states that only medical personnel deemed essential to the care of the athlete may be present for the tent or the locker room evaluation. This includes the team physician best qualified to evaluate the concussion, the club athletic trainer, and the sideline unaffiliated consultant. The NFL and the NFLPA also noted that the Giants have taken immediate remedial steps to prevent any similar violation in the future, including by cooperating with the review, conducting additional training with club staff and players, and taking further steps to ensure only permitted individuals may enter the medical tent during a concussion exam. Dable said after the game that he apologized to the team physician for his actions. I just stuck my head in to see how our quarterback was doing, Dable said at the time. In no way would I want a player to come back out there unless he was ready to play. I have great respect for that process. Giants owner John Mara, though, said in a statement following the initiation of the review that Dable's actions appeared inappropriate. But at least thankfully, okay, we didn't lose any draft picks. But Giants rookie running back Cam SKATTEBO has been fined by the NFL for the second time this week for an unsafe play during Sunday's game against the Broncos. The NFL announced Saturday that SKATTEBO was fined 6,157 yards for unnecessary roughness and striking, kicking, tripping, kneeing for a play during the fourth quarter, with 4:56 remaining. The fine was the result of SKATTEBO attempting to pick up a blitz on which Alex Singleton blew up the play. Blew him up, blew the play up, blew the Giants' chance of winning the game up, just blew everything up. Ultimately leading to a Jaxson Dart interception. He was not flagged on the play. SKATTEBO said, I got up. SKATTEBO told the NY Daily News of getting run over by Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton. That's really it. He got lower than me and he hit me harder. That's really it, SKATTEBO said. I got to be better in that moment for my quarterback. But he just got the better end of it. So that was the unfortunately that was he especially because with Cam being that low, right to the ground, he just get down a little bit lower. He's shorter than most of the guys out there. So for him to, it is tough because when you're standing there like that, you're just standing there. Like, maybe you can jump forward a little bit, but you got a guy coming full speed at you. Sometimes it's really tough, especially if the guy outweighs you by 10, 20, 30 pounds or whatever. The guy's running full speed. Sometimes it's really kind of tough to brace yourself and, but he gives it his all. He's just got to do a better job. But unfortunately, that one play right there was a huge turning point. Huge turning point. So it is what it is. But he got fined. So he wound up getting fined twice. But it certainly could have been worse because the Giants could have lost a draft pick for those guys violating the concussion 10, the protocol and all that. So thankfully, we still have all of our draft picks. All right, and finally, I've seen this here. Interesting. Jaxson Dart. Now, what it is, it's one of those things. It's like, it was a bit of some good news, and especially because I saw, as of this week anyway, after this week's over with, Jaxson Dart can shoot back up to number 23 or something, and whatever. But I just saw that Dart was number 14 and Jaden Daniels had him at number 15. It's like the power rankings, right? The Giants are number 22, but then they lose and they jump back to 25. Then they win, they're down to 23. And then they lose, they're up to 27. You know, it's really kind of silly. But they had the power, and Jaxson Dart is in the upper half. I mean, he's only played he's had 4 starts, and he's already in the upper half of the quarterbacks. Not too shabby. The one kind of like a little bit of a kick in the crotch is, as of right now, Daniel Jones is number 8. I don't know. He was never number 8 with the Giants. He might have been like number 28 when he was with the Giants, but with the Colts, they got Daniel Jones. I'll show you the list at number 8. And Baker Mayfield is number 1. I mean, it's a weekly thing. You know what I mean? So, but I just saw, like, man, they got him at number 14. Okay, not too shabby. So Jaxson Dart rises in the latest NFL quarterback rankings. Jaxson Dart is on the rise. Jaxson Dart has only been a starter for 4 games, but a new analysis says he has already surpassed a Pro Bowl quarterback. Dart had his highest volume performance in Week 7, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. The difficulty of throws amped up for the Dart Pro Football Focus. He attempted 13 throws of 10-plus yards, his most of that distance this season. Dart has also made an impact on the ground, rushing 37 times for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dart's steady improvement week by week was reflected in the most recent edition of the NFL.com's quarterback power rankings. After a big Week 7, Dart rose 7 spots, I guess from number 21. Now he's number 14. If he has a good game this week, he could go down to maybe number 12 or something. If he has a horrible game, let's hope he doesn't, he can jump back to number 20. So it's like the stock market, right? He's a Tier 4 quarterback according to the rankings. Dart is ahead of Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, who dropped 3 spots to number 15. Dart has been poised in the pocket as a rookie, showing solid awareness of when to use his legs, and according to the analysis of Nick Shook, who authored the rankings, that was on full display in Week 7. Dart was excellent early in the game, making a memorable play by evading the rush, stepping up through the traffic, and finding Daniel Bellinger for a 44-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter. Although Dart excelled early, he didn't lose confidence when the Giants' large lead evaporated. He battled through adversity. He embraced the challenge of the road game at Mile High, putting his body on the line all the way through the end. Had the Giants not collapsed in the fourth quarter, more people would have been singing his praises this week. Yep, that's true. Giants need Dart performing at that level every week. Outside of his costly fourth quarter interception, Dart played at his highest level of the season in Week 7 against the Broncos. And consider that, he didn't even complete 50% of his passes. That is an impressive feat against the Broncos, who ranked 10th in the NFL in passing yards allowed. Broncos were able to limit Dart's rushing ability, which made his big game through the air even more impressive. Even with that being the case, the Giants' offense is at best when Dart is also making an impact on the ground. The Eagles would do their best to limit Dart as he hurt them both through the air and on the ground in Week 6. Although Dart was held to under 200 yards passing in Week 6, he had his highest completion percentage of the season at 68%, and his most rushing yards in a single game at 58. Dart has shown a willingness to do whatever is necessary to put up points for the Giants' offense. His ability to do it all behind center for the Giants kept the Eagles off balance in Week 6, and it should be a goal of the Giants' offense to get that back in Week 8. Now, let me show you here. I'll just show you the share the screen here. And over there. All right, here we go. Show you the rankings here. I said it was kind of not kind of funny, but I mean, it's like, Daniel Jones, number 8. So Tier 1, the top of the cream of the crop. You want to call it that, right? Baker Mayfield, they got him ranked number 1. Of course, Patrick Mahomes number 2, Dak Prescott number 3, some guy by the name of Josh Allen's number 4. So that's the top, right? The second tier, Drake May. I mean, you know, the guys can really. I mean, you can look at it, right? If you, as of right now, anyway. I mean, as of these rankings, anyway, right? You can look between last season and this year's draft. Right, Dart is maybe the second best quarterback. Right, behind May. This is May's second year, so let's see maybe what Dart can do. Right, get even better. Maybe he gets his weapons back. Now, Mays completes 75.2% of his passes, 1,744 yards, 12 touchdowns, but only 2 interceptions, 200 rushing yards. So, Sam Darnold, right? Matthew Stafford and Daniel Jones is number 8. Oh, my goodness. Crazy. All right, let's see. So, tier 3. Justin Herbert. I'm kind of having a hard time believing, but Herbert's tier 3. But okay, so we got Justin Herbert, J Love with special sauce, Jared Goff, and Jalen Hurts is quarterback number 12. So Jalen Hurts is number 12, and then you got Aaron Rodgers number 13. Right. So then we got the tier. That's tier 3. So tier 4. Here you go, Jaxson Dart. 6 games, but see, the thing is with 6 games, you look at it, I mean, 2 of the games he played like one series. He handed the ball off, right? So really, he's only played in 4 games, right? 791 yards passing. He doesn't have a number 1 wide receiver, right? 6.7 yards per pass attempt, 7 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 178 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He has 2 fumbles. But as of right now, see, Dart moved up after the Broncos. He moved up 7 spots. Jaden Daniels apparently was like number 12 or 13 or whatever it was. So Jaden Daniels fell 3. Jaxson Dart went up 7. So that's why this week anyway, Jaxson Dart is ranked ahead of Jaden Daniels. Then we got, who else we got here? This is tier 4. Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco. All right. And tier 5, what do we got here? Mac Daddy Jones. So, I mean, you look at it, I mean, the 49ers, between Purdy and Jones, they got themselves a couple good quarterbacks, right? Trevor Lawrence, I mean, geez. I mean, he was supposed to be the second coming of Jesus Christ, wasn't he? He's number 19. Caleb Williams, number 20. Wow. Bryce Young, number 21. All right, tier 6. Bo Nix, right? C.J. Stroud, man, he plummeted big time, man, didn't he? Holy cow, he was like way up there a couple of years ago. Spencer Rattler, and then Michael Penix, he's number 25. I mean, see, Cam Ward got taken, the number 1 overall pick. Where's he at right now? He's ranked number 20, and he moved up 3 spots. So he was like number 29, I guess it was, like last week. And he got taken number 1 overall. We had trade back into the first round to grab Dart, and Dart's, as of right now anyway, he's ranked a lot higher than Cam Ward. So maybe we got the best quarterback in this draft, huh? Just maybe. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Cam Ward completing 57% of his passes. Not very good. 4 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles. Not good. Not very good. All right, what else we got here? Tier 7, Carson Wentz. Oh, my God. That poor guy. Dylan Gabriel. There you go. Right. Geno Smith. Wow, Geno. Number 29. Man, he plummeted. And Tua, number 30. Holy cow, Batman. Woo. Tier 8, Justin Fields and Cooper Rush. Oh, my God. Straight trash. Straight trash. But once again, all that is just strictly like a weekly thing. Jaxson Dart does good, he goes from number 14 to number 12 next week. Right? If he does bad, he goes from number 14 to number 18. It's the same thing with those stupid power rankings I mean, whoopie-do. I mean, the Giants are number 20. They lose, they go back to number 23. If they win, they go up to number 18. Oh, my God, the Giants win. Wow, we're number 20. Oh, my God, this is so great. Sometimes some of the stuff is just a little bit ridiculous. But I did see that, and it just seemed pretty cool. That anyway, as of right now, right, Jaxson Dart was ranked ahead of Jaden Daniels. He's ranked number 14. But of course, the all-time kick in the crotch is Daniel Jones. As of right now, is ranked number 8 overall. And with the New York Giants, he was never number 8. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 26 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.